You are now listening to the Shaw Report with Damian Banks.
What's happening? What's up? What's going on? It's the Shaw Report, and I am your host, Damian Banks. Shaw Bears alum and fans rejoice. This is your very own podcast hosted by moi, Damian S. Banks. Do me a favor. You know what time it is. You know how I do, so don't act brand new. Follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter at SportsByDamian. That's SportsByDamion. And Shaw University Athletics is on social media as well. On Twitter, it's at Shaw Bears. On Instagram, it's at SU_Bears. And on Facebook.com/Shaw Bears. We back in the building. Back like I never left. Another week of the Shaw Report. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can find this podcast as well as anything related to Shaw University Athletics on ShawBears.com. Big week ahead of us. Great week behind us. Hope everybody out there is happy, healthy, loving themselves, loving their family, their friends. It's all good in Bear Land. Huge show on tap for you this week. Football, men's, women's soccer, men's, women's cross country, volleyball. Got an interview this week with head men and women's cross country, Frantz Kwame-Smith. We popping 10 on the Shaw Report this week, but you know where we got to start. So let's get this thing going with the pigskin football. Head coach Adrian Jones and the Bears football program welcomed Edward Waters College to Raleigh, North Carolina for a Saturday tilt. Shaw coming off of that thrilling 48-47 double overtime win at Shawan. What would they do this week to back it up coming into this contest? I was hoping that the Bears weren't coming out lackadaisical, didn't come out, thinking that they already had the game won, didn't still have that euphoria from that impressive double overtime road win at Shawan. And the Bears did what good teams do. They came out and they took care of business. Shaw came into the contest 1-2. Edward Waters came into the contest 0-3. And the Bears got busy early on in this one. First quarter, Daniel Bender took a jet sweep 35 yards for a touchdown. Benny Kinsemi's extra point made the score 7-0. Next possession, Shaw's Malik Odom caught a 5-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Torrin Campbell. Torrin Campbell, congratulations to him as well. Last week's CIAA Player of the Week for his exploits versus Chawan. But I digress. In this game versus Edward Waters, Campbell had himself a pretty impressive game as well. Again, finding Malik Odom for a 5-yard touchdown pass to make the score 14-0. Then Shaw got a little turnover prone. 2 interceptions by Torrin Campbell led to 10 Edward Waters points. Edward Waters scored a 9-yard touchdown pass from Brandon Minor to David Meeks, and Shaw answered the next possession. Kavonta Moses, 20-yard pass from Torrin Campbell to make the score 21-7. Before the half, Edward Waters had a pretty impressive drive, 60 yards, culminating in a 42-yard field goal before the half to make the score 21-10. Second half was all Shaw. Kavonta Moses, 15-yard touchdown pass from Campbell to make the score 28-10. Malik Odom, 47-yard reception from Torrin Campbell to make the score 35-10. Asha Belcher, 22 yards pass from Torrin Campbell to make the score 42-10. And to cap the scoring, Andre Brandon Jr., 3-yard touchdown run to make the score 49-10, and that was your final. The Bears took care of business versus the Tigers of Edward Waters. And when you are a program like Shaw, you have aspirations of CIAA championships in the foreseeable future. You have to win and have to dominate games against Edward Waters, the Edward Waters of the world. No disrespect to Edward Waters. Myself and Corey Hodges did the audio on the Shaw Bears Sports Network for the game. And, I was just telling Corey that if you're Shaw University, you got to win games like this, and you need to win them impressively. Edward Waters, They're not on the same level as Shaw. They don't have the same caliber of player. And Shaw showed that, winning this game convincingly, 49-10. Head coach Adrian Jones, after the game, said that he was real proud of his guys. They played a complete game, offensively, defensively, as well as special teams. Final stats for this one: passing, Torrin Campbell, 222 yards, 5 touchdowns to go along with 2 interceptions. Got to clean up those interceptions, but 4 touchdowns last week at Juwan, 5 touchdowns this week versus Edward Waters for Torrin Campbell. Rushing, freshman Sidney Gibbs, solid as a rock on the ground, 16 carries, 127 yards, 7.9 average. Andre Brandon Jr., 59 yards on the ground along with the touchdown. Daniel Bender, 35-yard touchdown run. Receiving, Daniel Bender, 3 catches, 64 yards. Malik Odom, 3 catches, 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kavonta Moses, 3 catches, 41 yards with 2 touchdowns. Big time offensive explosion for Shaw University. Impressive all across the board, offensively. Defensively, the Bears were without their starting linebacker, Devin Hunt, last season's CIAA Defensive Player of the Year. Insert Sadante Fuller, the senior out of Georgia, 8 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss for Sadante Fuller. Justin Daniels, career high 10 tackles for him to go along with 2 sacks and 2 tackles for losses. Big time game for Justin Daniels. Defensively, the Bears played outstanding, only allowing 252 yards of total offense. Offensively for Shaw, put up huge numbers again, 49 points, 512 yards of total offense, and that was balanced. 245 yards passing for the Bears, as well as 267 yards on the ground. So if you're head coach Adrian Jones and that staff, you guys are improving week to week. Didn't let that Bowie State loss, that last second loss to Bowie State, follow them to Chowan. Came up with a big road win in Murfreesboro, North Carolina versus Chowan. Followed that up with a big time home win versus Edward Waters. So the next 2 weeks will tell a lot for Shaw University. 2 huge road matchups in the CIAA. Northern Division foe Virginia State this weekend. Next weekend, Southern Division matchup for Shaw University at Fayetteville State. Big time matchups, but this is what you want if you're head coach Adrian Jones and your staff. You want to compete at the highest level. You want to compete for CIAA championships, and you got to beat them. You got to beat who's in front of you. To beat a man, you got to beat the man. And Virginia State, the last couple of years, have been one of the better programs in the CIAA, as well as Fayetteville State. Fayetteville State represented the Southern Division in the CIAA championship game last season. So if you're Shaw University, you got to beat these teams to get to where you want to go. And it looks like the Bears program is headed in the right direction. Again, huge 49-10 win at home for Shaw University. Head coach Adrian Jones and his staff, congratulations to them. Next 2 weeks at Virginia State, at Fayetteville State. Huge CIAA matchups for the football program. We're just getting started here on the Shaw Report. A lot of things coming up on the show. Volleyball, men's, women's cross country, men's, women's soccer, all that and more after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. But if you do, come right back. You're listening to the Shaw Report on ShawBears.com. Today's show is sponsored by Summit Hospitality. Summit Hospitality is a proud sponsor of Shaw University Athletics. With 6 Marriott branded hotels in the Raleigh area, Summit Hospitality can manage all of your lodging needs. Make reservations for your family or group by calling 919-669-0576 and let them know that Shaw University Athletics sent you. That's Summit Hospitality, 919-669-0576.
This is the Shaw Report with Damian Beck.
Yes, shouts out to Summit Hospitality, one of the proud sponsors of Shaw University Athletics. If you're in the Raleigh area, if you're coming back to watch a football game, volleyball game at CC Spalding Gymnasium, soccer match at the MAC, or a cross-country meet at Wake Med Soccer Park. If you need somewhere to stay, look no further than Summit Hospitality. Several Marriott-branded hotels right here in the Raleigh area. They can hook you up. Tell them Shaw University Athletics sent you, and we thank you kindly. Thank you guys so much for listening. You know what time it is. You know how we do. So don't act brand new. Follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damien. That's SportsByDaimeon. And Shaw University Athletics are on social media. On Twitter, it's at Shaw Bears. On Instagram, it's at SU_Bears. And on Facebook.com/Shaw Bears. We back. Again, before the break, we recapped Shaw's impressive 49-10 victory at home versus Edward Waters. The Bears improved to 2-2 on the season. Next up this weekend, a road matchup at Virginia State. Good luck to head coach Adrian Jones and the staff as they travel to Petersburg, Virginia to take on the Trojans of Virginia State. Next up, though, on the Shaw Report, I told you we got a special guest this week. Head coach of the women's and men's cross-country program, Frantz Kwame-Smith. They just competed in the Queen City Invitational. Next up for them will be the HBCU Challenge. We talked about that and more on the Shaw Report. Today's guest is a special one. Head women's and men's cross-country coach at Shaw University, head coach Frantz Kwame-Smith. Coach Smith, what's going on, my man?
Nothing much.
Thanks for joining me on short notice on a beautiful Sunday. So you guys are 4 meets into your season. Kind of get us up to date on both squads, men and women's cross country, and how you guys have fared so far in your 2019 season.
Okay, thanks for having me. Basically, as you said, we're 4 meets in. The women's team, which has grown since last year, has been progressing nicely. We've been led by junior Katie Ann Wint, who's been the poster girl for the program since she's been here. Close by is Louisa Curry, who's been going toe-to-toe with her this season. As it stands right now, we are progressing downwards, which is good because cross-country is all about time. The faster you finish and the closer you finish together gives you the better score. We've been keeping tabs on our competitors in the conference, and we are trending in the right direction. The men, on the other hand, we've had some injury scares throughout the season, so it's been mostly about managing injuries. Even this past meet, we had one of our runners who made a huge PR, a PB, by almost 2 minutes because of the extreme heat at the meet. He had to be hospitalized for a little while that night. So it's been mostly handling injuries, but also we're also improving on the men's team as well. So we should bode well for conference. We should improve on the placement that we took last year.
Yeah, handling, injuries along with just the rigors of cross country. Most of the time, if people don't know, for women in cross country, most of the time it's a 5K race, and for the men, it's an 8K race. So that could be, upwards of 5-6 miles. And like you said, you're really competing against the clock. The faster the time, the better. So, Shaw's located, I know everyone knows, in downtown Raleigh. So I don't really see, you guys practicing or getting your miles in downtown Raleigh. Where do you guys, find time to practice with your student athletes?
This year we've approached it from a kind of awkward viewpoint. We've done mileage in different ways. We've now been given permission to use the Wait Med Soccer Park, so we've been using that facility. We've also been using the amphitheater off Rock Quarry, where all of the concerts are held in Raleigh area, pretty much. So we've been getting mileage there. Some of the times we use actually the blocks around Shaw to get mileage in as well, but outside of that, because of the transitioning from cross-country into outdoor track, we've been focusing on strengthening the girls, especially. The boys join in as well, but mostly the girls. We do a lot of strength work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which include resistance work, and we've now started the weight program later than we did last year. So we've been focusing mostly on mileage different ways, so over different surfaces. We've run on some concrete surface, but we tried our best to use spots off campus to get the mileage in.
Cross country, both men's and women's head coach Frantz Kwame-Smith here on the Shaw Report this week. Coach Smith, again, you guys are 4 meets into the season, and you said you've liked the improvement of the women's, couple of injuries on the